Greetings and salutations, all you beautiful individuals. It is another episode of League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys for our final installment before a little bit of a Christmas hiatus. So, picture perfect that we got a little fun show match in the LCS, and for fun it definitely was. But really, the fun is all of a sudden shadow dropping a potential League of Legends 2 that's most definitely not League of Legends 2 because we don't want to name it that because Overwatch 2 was a disaster, right? That's how they got there.
I think we're managing expectations has to be the way or the number one thing that I got coming across from the message of the Riot Games crew. But yes, we get the announcement coming through just a few short minutes to an hour or so after an article was going to be coming out, rumored leaks about this type of thing, wanting to jump out in front, get the official announcement more or less.
A scuffed YouTube short to,
Yeah, exactly, type of one. So certainly nice to see that the crew got together and was able to get this video out and go over some of the exciting things that will be coming our way. I think there is some room to discuss about whether this truly is a League of Legends 2 type of situation where it is more of this significant sequel, or if it is simply just a couple of modernized changes coming through to the game.
In-game client, number one, the big thing that people have been asking for a decade plus. Visual changes to the Rift, sweeping changes, I imagine, UI changes, better implications, and bringing into younger or new players. The tutorial's kind of a disaster right now, but this is coming in for 2027 potentially, right? So long ways away. They didn't actually show anything. They can talk about all these changes that are happening, but until we actually see how they're going to be implemented in some way, shape, or form, pretty hard to actually judge.
And seeing it is obviously going to be one of the major factors about it, because one of the big parts about a League of Legends 2, a sequel type of situation, was going to be the visual, the aesthetics, that type of upgrade and what type of change that was going to be, whether that's like an Unreal Engine 5 type of look to it or whatever it's going to be, it needs to be significant enough of a jump, right? When we're going back all the way to the origins of the game and kind of the first change that we got, the update to Summoner's Rift, which has been the only update really to Summoner's Rift in that regard for the past decade plus of the game. So certainly going to be a significant aspect, and one of the ones that does need to, I think, nail it if you are banking on this bringing in that younger audience, right? Bringing in the younger players that are exposed to all the games that are out there now. Again, Valorant, your own product, Marvel Rivals, all sorts of things that you are grabbing attention to get in and on that level, having the visual aspect be up to that level, be an impressive aspect of the game, I think is going to be a very important part about this, League of Legends Next, League of Legends 2, whatever we're calling it.
And a huge sweeping visual update is the perfect opportunity to, again, implement and improve the in-game camera and spectating, something that other people have been calling about, to be able to do these slick edits that you have like the LCK Mad movie. But if people can get these unique angles easily and accessibly within the game, then, oh my God, the edits are going to be off the chain, which is something Riot will want. And again, hard to do with an already underlying, like what their client and engine is for the game. But if you're starting from the ground up, they better be building that in from the get-go.
Is one of the ways that you can help yourself grow and become that stronger product, be more interesting, is having those type of creator content tools available to the average player type of situation, where again you can start seeing more of these LPL highlight editor clips that are coming on through and all the fun that brings to the game. I think that is, again, one of those aspects that does need to be included inside the feature set of a League of Legends Next, right? Because it needs to be just more than what we have right now, and that is one of the aspects I think you can see that type of improvement. You can kind of fish through some of the wording that they've used to describe some of the changes and envision that is part of what could be included.
They did, again, have some of that show match fun with the winter action. You had Freak, you had Jet, you had Kobe, you had all these crazy rules to get a bunch of points. The one thing I actually learned from this, your boy Griffin was playing. They had a couple pros who he was also there, but Griffin unbelievably vocal on the comms. And I know this is a meaningless thing that you shouldn't take anything actually from, but with FlyQuest, we were wondering, Masu's kind of the veteran on this lineup, who's going to be the shot caller. Based on this purely hypothetical for fun event, it's going to be Griffin, and it won't be an issue.
And that's something that I think, again, taking as little amount of stock of it as I can in that type of situation, understanding everything else about it, but seeing this early and understanding that this is where we're starting from with Griffin is a very comforting thing, and I think a very exciting thing for a lot of people, especially hoping that he can be one of the most exciting, one of the most explosive North American prospects that we have ever had. So having him come through and be vocal, and especially knowing, kind of the backing and history that he has with LS and that type of thought pattern to the game, being a vocal player is going to be something I think we want him to be throughout his career, and especially starting early with the FlyQuest team and knowing, yes, you do want to have, obviously, the established players there having that voice, but you need to start something new this time around as well, and having Griffin be that vocal, be a leader as far as how it's going to go so early in his career is an exciting thing I think we are seeing right now in the LCS.
We also saw, as we're deep in the awards season, we already saw Chovy get the Esports Athlete of the Year at the Game Awards. He also got the Mid Laner of the Year at the LCK, but he was denied that coveted Player of the Year honor. That was BDD earning his flowers, and I do mean flowers. My man had 3 bouquets of them as he went up there, and absolutely well-deserved. We can talk about the nuances as how does Chovy get Player of the Year, or Mid Lane of the Year, but BDD gets Player of the Year. I don't care. BDD deserves it.
I'm just saying, whoever the florist is for these LCK awards, to give them the shout out. They were absolutely making sure that the boys were heading up there with quite the garden in their hands. And yes, BDD does get to step up and accept the Player of the Year award. This is feeling all sorts of God of War, Red Dead Redemption at the Game Awards situation. Because yes, how does Chovy get Esports Player of the Year and Mid Laner of the Year in the LCK? But that doesn't translate to the Player of the Year. But thankfully, this is one of those situations where I agree, just like I agreed with the Game Awards at the time. I'm going with God of War, my BDD, as the mid laner, the Player of the Year. He's got to be there. Yes, it might be Chovy as the mid laner, but it's got to be BDD when we're talking about these LCK awards. And I'm happy that he does get this type of recognition, because he was absolutely Atlas holding up the world for KT all the way through the year.
And we don't know what the criteria is, which makes it harder to say, but I'll make up my own criteria. If you're saying purely best mid laner, yes, it's Chovy for sure. If you're going most important and integral player to their team this year, there you go. BDD's your Player of the Year.
Yeah, I think there's ways that you can work around and massage the criteria for that award or that situation on exactly how you're valuing it. That yes, you can come away with the answer specifically in that mid lane focus and contribution and what you are. That could be Chovy. But if you're talking about the guy who got it done, was the difference maker when it mattered all the times, all the most for his team, BDD gets that award through the LCK. We all know Faker is always in the shadows around with all these things. He got the most, I think the sportsmanship award was the one that did end up going to him. Which, I mean, that's got to be the layup of all layups. The good guy award to the absolute good guy, no problem guy of League of Legends. Come on. But again,
I mean, he could win that every year, and then you just feel bad for the other nominees, right?
It'd always be an easy answer, but again, happy times, fun times, celebrating it. Good to get a nice little dress-up award show type of situation like that in the LCK, and happy our boy BDD does get, at least at the very end of this year, some sort of recognition for how excellent he individually performed, even if he's not coming away with the world title or anything else of that significance.
And shout out to Keen for accepting the award for Chovy, who was not there doing, military stuff with his boy Ruler, and Keen did get best top of the year in the LCK as well. We were highlighting how fun the Kesper Cup was, and we've slid right into the Demacia Cup with not nearly the same level of hype, but kudos to the LPL. They were the first to try this fearless draft, and now they're trying to cook a little bit deeper. We had Weibo and JDG on the Rift, both actually using all their starters, which meant we got JJ versus Junjia in the jungle matchup. Of course, the old EDG six-man roster when they won that world championship. And in this third game, LPL cooking up a little blind pick, no bans, which means we had the Jace jungle mirror matchup as well as the Yunara Nico mirror. And let me tell you, 2 Nicos in a game is all kinds of confusing.
Oh, baby, this is exciting for League of Legends fans because, yes, this was more or less the real proving, testing sort of ground that we did see. Yes, we did have a little bit in kind of the tier 2 regions before, but mainly in the LPL and especially the Demacia Cup event, showcasing Fearless and the excitement that can be there. One of the conversations we've had about Fearless, though, is how do you evolve it, right? This can't simply be the final answer because it's a good answer, but it's not perfect. So we still want to work on it. Fine. Maximize our avenues of excitement and thrills that you can get from that formatting. And one of the ways to do that is to change it up at the very end of it, right? You know, a little different in this one where it is a best of 3, but more so geared towards that 5th game. You're talking about, again, running very difficult compositions, one where you're having to really go down as far as the synergies of champions and pick it out, where the meta is and everything else. One of the ways to reset that is to get to that final game, figure out a way if you're going resetting the full ban table or just like here at the Demacia Cup where you're rolling no bans in this final game and then it is blind pick and you're allowing the mirror matchups to come through just like the old matchups of old, you know, Faker, what was that? Look at the moves. That's how you get these type of moments. And heck of a moment we got. We had 2 Nicos in this game going up head-to-head. This is exactly the type of evolution or twist or wrinkle that I think Fearless Draft needs to try out this year around.
And it's an added level of strategy, right? I know people love the Game 5 Fearless because you have to go deep into your picks and you get some wacky picks. But the added strategy of going, okay, we're now trying to predict the full comp that the other team is going to do, and you're like 5 steps ahead at that point, and I can easily see teams outthinking themselves, going, okay, well, they'll probably pick this, so we're going to pick the counter, which is this, and then they don't pick what you were supposed to counter, and your whole team comp doesn't work. So an added level of strategy in an already incredibly complex pick ban, I'm all for it.
Oh, yeah, and I think, again, one of the best things that can come through from this, again, we still already see the champion diversity. That has been one of the good things about Fearless Draft, again, moving us more so and expanding the options that you'll see from a team throughout a series as it goes that distance. But having still that angle, that excitement that can come through in that Silver Scrapes final type of game moment and ratcheting it up and looking back in the history of the game and noticing that we have had that before and where its excitement and what its pros and cons were. I think this is the exact opportunity that you can implement it, that you can utilize it within the Fearless system and strengthen it. And I'm glad we're getting a little bit of a taste of that so far early here in the Demacia Cup.
God bless the LPL for trying the crazy stuff as the guinea pigs before they ultimately lately have been implemented into these tier 1s. So let's see what else they can cook up throughout this Demacia Cup. But that is it for League Unlock. As I said, we'll be off for about a week or so. So happy holidays and enjoy the break to everybody. And we will catch you on the other side.